Go for it.
The Western is an interesting genre. You know, we've lost a lot of readership to young people reading the Western of today, which is the Star Wars and those things. Same basic story. All genres are the same. You need to write compelling fiction. You need to write something somebody wants to read. Elmore Leonard said it best about fiction when he said, "I try to leave out the parts people don't read." But specifically as to the Western, time and place is important. I once wrote a book and had a guy smoking a cigar, and I got a letter from a fella that said, "You had that cigar in 1872 and it wasn't introduced until 1880. I mean, there's an expert on everything, and particularly about the West. There are so many people who are engrossed with the West. I wish they were more engrossed with Western reading, but the shoot 'em up is changing. There are more things happening in Westerns. Now they're writing about women in the West. They're writing more about the railroads and mining and industry and the politics of the West, and all those things will help grow the readership of the West again. As far as preparing to write a Western, I read journals. Pardon me. I read old newspapers. It gives you a sense of time and place. You know that steak and eggs sold for 50 cents in 1872 and wherever you are. I have fabulous journals. One, the Alfred C. Doughton Journal, which is probably a foot on my shelf of 3 hardback books. Doughton was a newspaper publisher who owned a newspaper in Virginia City, Nevada, beginning in 1853, and kept his journals through 1900. If you write about a given year, if I do, I go grab that and say, okay, what happened in 1883? And reading his journals, I know a whole lot about. I know how people committed suicide, all kinds of things that you wouldn't find out any other way. Newspapers, Kat and I have been collecting. My Kat's my wife, and I have been collecting newspapers for a long time. If I want to write about Sacramento in 1872, I can grab a copy of the Sacramento Alta. I know when the riverboats came and went. I know what riverboats came and went. I know what restaurants were there. I know what freight companies were operating there. I know what banks were there. And that adds authenticity. There was a guy who was fairly successful up to a given point, not that I endorse him by any stretch of the imagination, but a guy by the name of Adolf Hitler who said, "Tell them 3 truths and they will believe your lie." And writing fiction is much the same. If you tell them 3 truths, if they know that you know what you're talking about in terms of time and place, they'll believe your fictional aspect of what you're doing. Very important to write good time and place in Westerns or Regency England like Cat writes or any other genre. They're all basically the same.